In the nonfiction work For the Time Being, Annie Dillard employs clouds for a variety of reasons. Our thesis is that Dillard utilizes the simplicity of clouds to illustrate the significance of recognizing one's individuality and purpose while maintaining a symbiotic relationship with the universe. She accomplishes this through literary devices such as rhetorical question, metaphor, and antithesis in order to urge humanity to reconsider life's full potential.
Dillard uses clouds to express individuality of people and how key aspects of individuality are not replaceable. To other people, it may seem as though we lose individuality as time passes. However, that is not the case. We still see ourselves to be unique compared to other people. Everyone is different because, quote, we people possesses records like gravestones of individual clouds and the dates on which they flourished. The diction of possesses records show that we choose to keep things that set us apart from everyone else and how people choose to keep different records and memories. For example, Maria Constable died that November. We still have these dated clouds. Even though people remembers a certain important date, that date is unique to us and how we perceive it, as shown by the syntax of we still have these dated clouds, and how people hold on to those particular dates. Death reduces us to simpler things, just how wind separates a cloud and reduces it to water vapor. But we still hold distinctive records while we're still alive. Dillard is conveying how we should cherish being an individual while we're still living on the earth before it's too late. Does it matter to you or to the world of time which of the two you feel yourself to resemble, the immense structure or the undercloud? This rhetorical question suggests to us how we should care about our own aspects that make us different than worrying about how other people perceive us. It doesn't matter about which one we choose, but it matters to us on the fact that we chose something, the fact that we have the power to choose what makes us unique. July 30th, 1981, painter Laqueline Gorviich drew in graphite 7 clouds above Middletown, Connecticut. The largest cloud tumbled out of rank, dark and rucked at one end like a sleeve. It seemed to violate airspace, to sprawl across layers of atmosphere like a thing loosed. Like certain clouds, they have a certain atmosphere they stay in, a boundary to a cloud, while this cloud, this individual, seems to violate airspace and transcend boundaries that people have in their life, and how the trait dark and rugged at one end like a sleeve is unique to that one cloud, and how it doesn't let a boundary to block it from being expressed. Dillard is telling us that we should express whatever we want us to express and not worry about how others perceive us.
My examination of clouds will focus on the idea of memory after death and Dillard's portrayal of human foolishness by not taking further advantage of the life they possess. She expresses the thought that the legacy of your life won't ever serve justice to who you were as a soul and person. So essentially, seize the opportunity that is life, or carpe diem. In example number 1, Dillard notes that the perceived legacy of Italian archaeologist Piero Roti is merely defined as a poet, architect, and orphan, through a literature. This understatement emphasizes the fact that Piero Roti's whole life and essence was summarized in only 3 words. After life, we are all memories, and if you're lucky enough to have made an impact on humanity, maybe a historian will deem you worthy of a couple of words. Just like clouds are often forgotten and an afterthought unless they're being directly investigated or looked at, humans, just like Roger, follow the same type of path once they are dead. She does this not to dissuade humanity from living, but in fact push us to find happiness and substance in the life we hold now, because as Dillard says, we are all marked men in the end. Secondly, Dillard employs a direct rhetorical question in regards to what kind of cloud you choose to be. Does it matter to you or to the world of time which of the two you feel yourself to resemble, the immense structure or the undercloud? The world could care less what you do, because one person in the grand scheme of the universe is incredibly minute to say the least. Despite this, Dillard believes the type of person you become and the life you choose to live should matter and be of great value to you. The choice is up to the individual, whether he or she wants to become a large, powerful, polarizing cloud, like the immense structure, or a more introverted, reflective, isolated cloud, like the undercloud. Both are special and deserve recognition and attention. The simple, fluid nature of clouds, to take on different shapes and forms, represents the inherent, important uniqueness in each cloud and therefore each human. The rhetorical question is utilized to implore people to consider the dichotomy she presents, the debatable relevance of a single human in respect to the world, but also the significance of life you live with respect to yourself. The only way to find significance in this vast universe is to be your unique self for your unique self, because in the end, the masses of the dead will outnumber the living.
All throughout its existence, man has diverted and gone astray from the simple and satisfying life that once was, and traded it for a life full of complex and empty vices. Clouds in For the Time Being serve as memoirs to such a time when a reality played out in peaceful content was sought after. the only worthwhile joy, to release some infinitesimal quantity of the absolute, to free one fragment of being. Teilhard de Chardin was a man who had sought enlightenment all of his life, leaving no section of it not observed. After all his discoveries, essays, and archaeological digs, there was little that surpassed this simple joy. This simple joy, simple yet worthwhile, can't even be accomplished by physical means or monetary gain. The current world's view is drunk on the idea that materials equal joy, a thing that is not tangible. But consider the clouds. They can't afford to be weighed down by things that won't build up their own character. Anything other than itself cannot be allowed to remain if the cloud is to be a cloud. The simplicity of the clouds is a direct metaphor used by Dillard to show the peak of human happiness. Does it matter to you, or the world of the time, which of the two you feel yourself to resemble, the immense structure or the undercloud? Dillard uses the rhetorical question to say, it doesn't matter what type of cloud you are in the grand scheme. The modern man has become engrossed with the physical and the outward, that he has spent too much time and energy on the false substitute for happiness. Teilhard also came to this conclusion and also gave us advice by saying that living well is cooperation as one atom in the final establishment of a world. So, it would be selfish just to worry about oneself. Not only is it selfish, but is detrimental to one's own happiness and how they're perceived by others. In his world were nothing but details. This passage seems out of place, but it maintains the clearest explanation for the purpose of clouds and for its inclusion in the novel. Dillard used antithesis in this statement to depict a character who can never be general or abstract, one who cannot attest to a larger picture. The antithesis comes when in his world were nothing but details. Granted, the world is a conglomeration of details, but it can only be truly mentioned as an entire world if all the independent qualities of these details fade away into the larger picture. But this character is stuck on a stumbling block where he can only see his world in minute details, never seeing a larger scheme in his world. For him, good and bad stay as polar opposites and never blend into a medley that makes life amazing. The world is a portrait, and the clouds in it are one of the many beautiful details. A detail never strives to take the foreground, but it finds its true place as it sinks and assimilates into the surrounding, making a more idyllic landscape. Therefore, if a cloud is to be man's mark for joy, one must again consider the clouds.